Hi there. Welcome to Managing Your Perimeter. I'm Anna Reahl, and today, together with PJ O'Neill and Mel Lukens, we are joined. Well, actually, I'm gonna let her introduce herself because she's absolutely delightful. I met her at a workshop. But before we get into that, gentlemen, I have not seen you. Mel, we haven't seen you in ages. So we're gonna start with you. Tell us where you've been, what you've been up to. I know we've all been busy in different corners of the world, but please start us off. What's going on with you?
Well, I feel like I've covered almost all four corners of the world in the last 6 months. I've I've gone up three or four different levels on two or three different airlines, frequent flyer clubs, just to show how many miles I've covered. Still living the dream down in here, beautiful Florida. Although I will tell you today, the the low got down to 41. So that's not my typical Florida weather. Um,
We'll hear
Family's
the
all good.
violins from here, Mel.
Yeah, I know you're in Chicago and I don't care. But moving right along. So I'm glad to bring my irreverence and subtle wit back to the podcast and hope that I can contribute in both comical and intellectual ways.
Oh, always, Mel. Always, always. It's funny when they did say I'm on the other side of Florida, Mel, and when they did say it was in the 40s, I was like, I'm still wearing flip-flops. I'm good. I am absolutely good.
Yeah, I saw your
Um,
forecast and immediately turned the TV off.
no, it's very, yeah, very, very happy about that. Yeah, I think Mel and I almost crossed paths. We were both doing some advanced work. We did almost cross paths in Asia, Southeast Asia, but I ended up going to Malaysia and Mel, I'm not sure. Were you in South Korea? I'm not sure where you were.
South
I can't remember.
South Korea,
There you
and
go.
not
Okay.
the fun part of South Korea. No offense to my South Korean friends, but we were in a little town north of Busan
Oh,
called Yeongju, and I couldn't even figure out how to pronounce the name of the city until I got home. So
okay.
that's how confusing it was.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you're home and you're safe, and now you can maybe just put your feet up for a little bit and take a little exhale, and that you were able to join us today. PJ, I know PJ sent me a picture this morning. I think PJ got snow.
Yeah, it's an absolute beautiful bluebird skies, sunshine, but 4 inches of snow overnight. So I'm no longer in flip flops.
I'm sorry about that. Oh, sorry about that,
Fucking
PJ.
heavy boots.
Yeah. And the kids, PJ, what's going on with the kids? The kids are good. You now have
Kids
a
are
16
good.
year old.
Pardon?
I said you now have a 16-year-old.
I now have a 16-year-old. I have to once we're done with this, I have to take his truck in to get it looked at because it's leaking oil somewhere. We can't figure it out. It's an ancient old truck. Uh, and yeah, we're busy with hockey, and Georgia's doing great in DC. So
That's awesome. That's great. That's great. So today, on managing your perimeter today, as usual, we always talk about like the perimeter and how all of our assets play into a perimeter and how we build big events and the security part of things. Sharon Lee is, and again, I'm actually going to let her like really like promote herself and talk about her business and everything. But Sharon Lee manages the trucking part of things, which is a very big component of what we do also. And we will get into that and how these two intersect quite well. But anyway, please, Sharon, welcome today. I'm so excited to have you here. It's been a bit. We've been trying to get you for a while. So I know, and of course, you're just coming off of like all the festivals and everything for the summer. So I'm really happy that you're able to just take a little bit of an exhale as well and sit down and chat with us for a while. So please welcome to the show. Thank you.
Yeah, excited to be here. And I'd love to say I am exhaling, but I'm not yet. We are launching. I have two conferences here in Nashville this
Oh,
week, and I'm speaking at both. So it's a little bit
oh gosh.
it's a little bit of a hectic thing here in Nashville. And so we are miserable. It's 30 degrees. And that is not typical for this time of year. So there's a lot of whining
Yeah.
happening here in Tennessee. So I'm the founder president of High Road. We're a tour trekking company based out of Nashville. Started the company about 10 years ago. Yeah. So what do you want to know? I don't know. I mean, we do the trekking, we do the thing, right? We get the stuff from here to there. We do a great job at it. We move stuff, not people. And yeah,
Well,
just
that's perfect. So most of your business is focused on the entertainment side and the corporate side of things. So maybe just tell us a little bit about how that all works.
Yeah. So we used to be more invested and involved in the corporate side of things. We did a lot of trade shows, conference, corporate work.
Mhm.
Leading up to COVID, we did a lot more of that. COVID, we did absolutely nothing. And then coming out of COVID, we really ramped up our music industry. Everybody went back to live events and it was just hot and frantic and crazy. And so, really, our corporate side died down, our entertainment side ramped up. So, now about 90% of what we do, we're focused exclusively on concert tours, live industry events, music. We go anywhere in the US and Canada. Yeah, and we have a fantastic team. I mean, I think everything that you do is, and you know this as well, everything you do is really just predicated on the people who do it with you. And
Oh,
we're just very blessed. Tyrod has an amazing team.
oh, nice, very nice. Do you own the trucks,
Yeah.
Sharon? Or are you okay? Okay. So how many are in your fleet now?
So we have 8 in the high road fleet currently. We just entered into a partnership with a company out of Canada, Truck and Roll, which we're very excited about. And their
Nice,
fleet is substantially larger. They have 60 something trucks.
nice, nice.
Yeah, and so our business model here at High Road has always been our drivers, our team of drivers are considered lead drivers.
Mhm.
So we contract with other drivers, other trucks that own their own equipment, and then they come on board and they work underneath our drivers. So
Got
every
it.
driver on the High Road team is capable of running a team.
Maybe just take us from the beginning of how do people find you? How do people contact you? How do you get, how did you get into this? Like, I mean, but as a woman-owned trucking business owner, I mean, that's pretty significant. So it doesn't dictate like how successful you are, but it's
Right.
just it's a big deal. I mean, it's so, how did you do this?
Yeah, so I had been in trucking for a long time, doing concerts, I'm sorry, doing conferences and
Yeah.
trade shows. I had been with a company for years that was a franchise, and that was exclusively what we focused on. Um, so I'll give you the quick version. My oldest daughter, who's 29 now, she's 14 maybe ish. We're at a
Mhm.
Nick Jonas concert. And we're walking down and we see all these, what I now know to be road cases, lining the hallways. And I looked down at the road cases and I thought, wow, those look the same as trade show cases. And I noticed some stickers on them of other companies that also were in the same conference and trade show space that we were. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like a trade show, only move in
Yeah.
same day. We could totally do this. And I started just sort of poking at it for years, for 4 or 5 years maybe, poking at it,
Wow.
just sort of
Mhm.
trying to understand it a little bit more, learning,
Mhm.
volunteered at some festivals, volunteered at some concerts,
Oh,
doing
no.
pretty much anything they would tell me to do, taking tickets or whatever. And really just sort of learned the industry in that way. Fast forward, started the company and really just went after it. Um,
Nice.
yeah, and it's worked out great. Actually, I'm speaking at a conference tomorrow at Echo Live, and one of our sessions that I'm really excited about is called Follow Her Lead.
Oh, nice.
And we're sort of over the whole women getting the short end of the stick in our
Yeah.
industry, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. We're really focused, this particular session, we're really focused just on how we don't manage things better, we just manage things differently as women.
Right.
And how do we do that? And how does the male female dynamic interact? So whether we're specifically speaking to people like a tour manager who's a female working with a production manager who's a
Yeah.
male, how do
Yeah.
they work together effectively? And sort of that um, nurturing role that women tend to take on, which is beneficial, which is fantastic. It's worked really well for me. My drivers all call me Mama Bear, and yeah, so I don't,
Well,
so when they have a
So
problem, I listen, I empathize, I'm
yeah.
wait, you don't try and
understanding.
solve it?
Well, sometimes I do, but I
Yeah.
don't tell them to rub dirt in it and to go get back out there slug. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 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 I totally get that. I mean, I completely understand. I'm getting ready to go to a meeting this week, and the two guys that I'm walking into the meeting with are all about like, oh, we need to hit them this Wednesday. And I'm like, nope. I said, nope, we need to hit them with the relationship side of it. because
Yeah.
that's what they need the clarity on and the trust that we know what we're doing with this, not just the facts and the numbers. And so, I understand it, but I know, very briefly, you mentioned Echo Live, and I would just like you to give us that elevator pitch on Echo Live. That is how I met Sharon,
Yes.
because I went to one of their seminars, and I actually think it was the big one that you have in November, where you had all these different sessions and all of these different people spoke. The one that I attended was called Situational Awareness. And it was
Yes.
specifically about self-defense and how everybody should be aware of their surroundings. And there was focused on the crew and everything and production. It was given by the tour manager for Tim McGraw. And so this is how I got involved in, and then subsequently began to sponsor your very, very good thing. So just give us that little
Yes,
bit of
and thank you.
briefing
You've
on.
actually done a webinar for us, I believe, and we really
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah, and so this is tomorrow. Our big workshop is tomorrow.
yeah,
Yeah, one of the things that we're doing tomorrow is active shooter training.
yep,
Of
yep,
course. Many sessions. So Echo Live, fantastic. Chris Lyle started it. This is our 14th year of doing this workshop in Nashville, formerly Touring Career Workshop. We've really focused hard on the last few years. ECHO is ECCHO, Education, Community, Connection, Health, and Opportunities. And so
yeah,
we really look at the whole person and how all of those things speak into their lives. So we provide education, like with the webinars, folks like
yeah,
you do that really help support the crew and the pros that are in the touring industry.
yeah,
Community and connection, we have monthly events, and it could be anything. It could be a webinar, it could be a get together. We toured Rock Nashville, we went bowling, we go kayaking,
mhm,
um, went to a comedy club. So we just do
yeah,
all kinds of things that are really take you away from the workplace for a little bit and just give you an opportunity to foster some real connections. Mental health, financial health, there's a lot of components of that we focus on. We provide mental health counseling. We are
mhm,
not counselors, but we pay for counseling for touring people and
nice,
their significant others. And we have started counseling on site. We are at,
nice,
gosh, I don't even know how many festivals we're providing counseling
yeah.
backstage now, but Bonnaroo, CMA Fest, Austin City Limits, Lala.
You were Lala, yes.
Yeah, we were at Lala. So we are at just tons of festivals now doing mental health counseling backstage. All of this is nonprofit. All of this is provided free of charge to people in the industry. Yeah,
No, it's great. No, I thank you. I applaud that. Very much so. I like that community. Again, having a son in the business, he's very familiar with it. So, thank you for sharing all of that with us, because that's where our connection really came in together.
it
So,
is. Yes.
just sort of heading back then and just talking about the trucking part of this. Guys, what do you think when we're thinking about like the perimeter side of this, and you're listening to what she has shared with us? How do you think all of that works together?
Well, one of the immediate questions that comes to my mind is, have we ever gotten in your way? Um, when
Great.
I can remember a couple of events. I want to say Cleveland in 2016, if memory serves, where we built a perimeter fence and then the production trucks couldn't get in. We had to adjust the fence after it was up. So we had to move a bunch of stuff and re-angle a few things.
Well, we wouldn't
I
have
would
done that, would
love to
we?
say it never happens. I'd be lying. Yeah.
Who do you, Sharon, when you're calling in and you guys are coming in to bring these trucks and everything, are you dealing directly with the production manager? Are you dealing with the venue? Like, how does that, what's the sequence for you guys?
So our primary point of contact is always the production manager. That's who hires us. That's who our first point of contact is always going to be prior to any tour. And our drivers have been, all of our drivers are experienced. I've been doing this for years. And so prior to any tour that we're going on, we do pre-tour planning.
Yeah.
We do a session that we get together, lead driver, production manager, me, somebody else from our team and anybody from their team they want on the call. And by the time we get to that call, we've reviewed every festival, every venue. Um, the driver will already have his questions queued up. I've been to this venue, parking's an issue. We need permits, parking's off site. How do you want us to handle this? How do you want us to handle that? For the most part, I would say venues, we don't really have a lot of issues with. Festivals just depends on the festival and what's going on and who's handling it. But we're going to deal direct with the production manager unless for some reason we're arriving at 5 a.m., the bus is 5 hours behind us. We're told parking is somewhere, turns out parking is not there. Then we may be dealing with whoever's on site. But that's typically, but I'm not going to say you specifically have been in our way. It's possible.
So technically you're hired by a band and then you will follow that tour. You're not hired by the venue, correct?
No, we're not
Okay,
hired by the
okay.
venue. We're hired by the artist camp. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll go with a
Very good.
tour and we're going to stay from the first
Got
pickup
it.
all the way to the final delivery and
Got it.
4, 10, 15 weeks in between, whatever it might be.
I
Yeah.
got you. Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple of things here. Number one, I read with notice or interest. You guys are down in Franklin, Tennessee. Is that right?
We certainly are.
Yeah, that's where my first son was born. Actually, he
You're
was born in
kidding.
Nashville, but we lived in Franklin for a couple of years, back almost a generation ago in the mid '90s.
Okay.
But anytime I hear anybody from Franklin, I always got to bring it up because nobody really knows where it is. And now it's really more so on the map now than it has been certainly in the last 20 years, and I'm sure you've seen the growth that is just drives you crazy. Um, I'm just curious because I was thinking about your um, industry and the things that you do, and was just wondering, out of your history, what's been the most memorable moment of for you in what you've done?
Oof. Most memorable. So I would have to
That was
say,
an aha moment.
yeah, it is. And it is. And the first things that came to mind were two things that came to mind right away. Two tours I did not get. Um, but they were cool in and of themselves. I started the company and within the first for whatever reason, my SEO, I guess I just really knew what I was doing. And I I don't know. I was just very lucky and our SEO was fantastic. And one of the coolest things was I think it was in our first year, maybe our second year, Stevie Wonder's camp sent a request through our website. And I was like, this can't be real. This can't be real. Stevie Wonder. Oh my gosh. And they're on our website. How awesome is that? Didn't get it, but cool just the same. Um, and probably the second thing would again be another tour that we didn't get was we had an opportunity to quote on Duran Duran, um, who in the 80s, I was absolutely convinced I was marrying Nick Taylor, who was the keyboardist. Still, I'm married now. I'm very happy, but I'm still waiting for him to come around. I think it's going to happen at some point. I'm going to have to tell him, sorry, man, I'm taken. But quoting Duran
Yeah,
Duran.
you've got your answer correct, and still looking for that opportunity. No, I think Stevie, yeah, if I'd seen that, coming through the website and you're 2 years old and you see a Stevie Wonder tour, you go, wow,
Yeah.
sorry you didn't get it. I'm sure other opportunities have filled that void.
Absolutely.
But as a follow-up to that question, what's been your scariest moment?
Ooh, scariest moment.
What really caused you to maybe lose sleep at night or something other than your kids and your daughter, I guess.
There's
Yeah.
let's not talk about the kids, but there's been a lot of sleepless moments for sure. I'm very grateful for the people that work with us. But in the beginning, I took the 5 a.m. calls. I was the one who was up all night.
Mm.
So we had a couple of issues with I remember one, gosh, John, who's been with us from the beginning, amazing driver, incredible human being. And John broke down in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Mhm.
And it's your biggest nightmare because it's one thing when he breaks down close enough that we can just quick pop him into a rental, hook up the trailer and go. But he wasn't even somewhere where we could get somebody to him in a timely manner.
Mhm.
And it threw off the entire tour. And I was up a lot that night, talking to him all night, getting him there. I will not tell you what happened because it was illegal, but he did get to the show on time.
Well,
He made
yeah,
it.
I mean, that proves to me that you know how to overcome, improvise, and adapt.
Yeah.
And in our collective business, that's 98% of the ball game right there.
Yeah.
You can plan, one of my favorite quotes from General Dwight D. Eisenhower is no plan survives the first shot of battle. And, when I think about our industry and we're out there slinging fence and putting up perimeters and dealing with law enforcement, it's not that different from what you do. You're slinging a few more weightier items that are, 53-foot trailers and, large diesel rigs. But when they break and it doesn't go to plan, you've got to be able to adapt and improvise in order to accomplish the mission. And
Right.
I mean, so again, the similarities are right there in front of us.
Yeah. Good question. Very good question. Really gave me some some pause.
Well, everything runs very parallel. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I was really excited to kind of have you on the show because, a lot of the stuff you're dealing with and then I think you said that you really, things like after COVID really started ramping up for you because people were coming back and I mean, and the entertainment industry came back fast and furious. Like everybody was like, we're going to do 130 shows versus 80 shows. And I mean, and that's really significant. I mean, that's 50 more shows than they, sort of typically had done, even though, yes, there were tours they'd done that. But for the most part, everybody was doing it.
Oh
Everyone
gosh. Yeah.
wanted to be back on the road. Everybody wanted all of that. So I guess, when you do sign with like specific artists and everything, but do you get those phone calls of, people that are like, we don't have our truck canceled or or our truck broke down or something, are you do you, and I'm sure you do, have enough connections in the industry to be able to sort of like help people out? And now of course you're not connected with the Canadian business, but do you I'm sure that you guys like come together and collaborate a little bit. I would assume.
Yes, I actually, it's one of my favorite things is putting together the puzzles. I love getting something that's, especially when it's a problem that's not mine,
Yeah.
but I get to help solve it, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So those are the best is
Yeah.
when somebody calls and says, "Hey, our carrier bailed," or one of the ones we've had actually more frequently is we have a program called Tour Up. And our tour up program is for artists that only need 1, 2, 3 trucks. Maybe
Uh-huh.
maybe they're inexperienced at touring and they're just growing to that point.
Yeah.
Maybe they're
Mhm.
coming from overseas and this is their first time in this market. Or maybe that's just their market. They're just the 1, 2 truck tour.
Yeah.
And so touring up puts an experienced driver on the tour to really help support them with things like, what do I do with border crossings? Do I need a carnet? Do I need a temp bond?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
how do I pack this truck properly? What are things that I should know about certain venues? And so the experienced driver comes on to help. Well, what we have experienced a lot is tours that don't necessarily have that in their budget. So they load up a trailer, put it on the end of their bus and go.
Mm.
One of our early tours that we've toured with, we just finished their tour a couple weeks ago, but one of their early tours, they did exactly that, overwhelmed their trailer, busted the axle, side of the
Yeah.
road, got the call, "We are overweight, we need a truck."
Yeah.
Um, we've gotten that call a lot, and then when people were coming back in 2023, when touring started up in 2023, there was some uncertainty around the economy. We had a couple of tours cancel that said, hey, we're just going to go back to a bus and a trailer.
Yeah.
And they would find out they're overweight, they get stopped, they can't move, they're stuck, they're busting axles or whatever they're doing. And so we're rushing a truck out to catch the tour along the way. So, and I love being able to help. That's one of my favorite things. I feel bad that they're in that situation,
Yeah.
but I love being able to help. Yeah. So
Nice.
it happens, and we have the resources, we work it out. We might have to do a little bit of scrambling and chasing and things like
Yeah.
that, but it's what we do.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good. No, that's always nice to hear. I mean, we're sort of the same way. We do have a very large competitor out of DC, but oftentimes people will just call us and they just want to know like about a specific product or something. And, we like to be very forthcoming and provide information on that as well.
Yeah.
In relation to things that we do and what we focus on, which is on the security side of things.
Sure.
So how do you navigate that? Because I do hear that now they are, before people go into festivals, they are stopping trucks, they are stopping buses and things like that. So how are you navigating this part now that seems to be a little more mandated than it was?
Yeah. So I guess it kind of depends on what we're talking about with security in terms of
And then like
drivers or
when your trucks are coming into like a festival ground,
yeah.
do they have to stop somewhere to be sort of inspected a little bit? I know that some of the tour buses are, and they have to get people out of the bus, and they have to like inspect the bus to make sure that it's secure going on the grounds, or
Right.
or are you encountering that? Or
It depends on the festival. I mean, we do encounter that some places, and we definitely may encounter that crossing the Canadian border as well, coming in or out. But I think the biggest thing for us is, so as a company, we're always liable for an issue, right? But so are the drivers, right? Because it's their CDL, it's their
yeah,
license. So anything that happens doesn't just affect us, it affects them. And we really only hire by reputation. We know you, we've heard of you, we know who you are, or recommendation. One of our drivers knows who they are, what they do, and they recommend them. And so for us, we have that level of experience and skill, even though we're not a big company, we're really considered boutique. The people that we have are exceptional. And so they know what they're dealing with. They know what's allowed. They know what's not allowed. For example, not a safety issue, but going into Canada, you can't take merch unless you declared it on a carnet. You can't take it in on a temporary bond. It has to go in a specific way, has to be accounted for. The dollars have to be accounted for. When it goes comes out, they have to have a count on the backside too. So if you sell 3 pins for $3 in Canada, you have to report that coming out. And so the drivers are really, really cautious. They know what's on their truck. And if they don't have a carnet for that merch going in, they'll tell them, take that off my truck. Not going across the border. I'm not going to run the risk of having a problem. It has to come off. Same thing with security. So going in and out of a festival, if there's any sort of thing that they're aware of and a security concern or something that they need to know about. The only thing that really comes to my mind, and I'm sure it's not even relevant, is a lot of our drivers have dogs. Yeah, a lot of our drivers have dogs. We're actually doing a series on our social media, Tour Dogs, but a lot of our drivers have dogs.
That's
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch that one.
Wow.
Do you guys go in and out of Mexico at all?
Not at all. There's a security problem.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's what there were two things that came to mind. Number one was the Mexican border, which we know is, well, first of all, good that you're not, because that obviously eliminates a lot of stress and concern. But the other thing, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but it's just an observation, is the whole CDL process has really come to the forefront just in the last, 2 months,
Yes.
3 months, but to understand the CDL, I mean, that is not only a state. Well, clarify for me: is it state regulated, federal regulated, and then how does that also impact you going cross border?
Sure. So it is, yeah, so it is federal. They get their CDL state. So one thing for us, we do not hire anybody who's not had their CDL for 2 years. So that's an immediate. So if anybody's like, "Hey, I just got my CDL," great, call us.
Yeah, you're not looking for the first time, Uber truck driver.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. So again, reputation and
Yeah.
recommendation. So when a driver does get to that point where we're interested in hiring him, there's a lot of background that goes along with that. There's services that you use. We do their background check, everything from county records, state records, federal, you name it. We go through it. And our drivers, it's funny, character's really important. And our drivers will test drive another driver.
Mm,
When they take them out for a test drive, it's not just about the skill, it's about who they are. So if I have a
right.
driver taking another driver out for a test drive, he already knows that driver's background, where he's been, where he's come from, what he has said he has done. And when they're out driving, they'll start chatting them. And I've said this 100 times, nobody gossips more than truck drivers, not even
Yeah.
15-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And these guys will start talking, and my drivers are like, "So, yeah, so I heard you've been on tour before. Who have you toured with, and who have you done this with?" And then they'll come back and they'll go, "What he's saying does not match what you told me. I
So
think
it's
you're
not about, yeah, it's not about turning the wheel. It's about what's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
absolutely not." Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you have to trust that they can turn the wheel, right? And they are testing them for that. Back this truck up, start it up, do this, do that. They'll take them. Sometimes we'll take them out for a full day overnight, see how they do.
Yeah.
And that it's really telling. It's really telling. So yeah. But there is a lot. And I've seen it a lot over the last few months with drivers that have maybe not been licensed properly or
Mm,
can't speak English or maybe, whatever the issues may be. How is that happening? I don't know how that's happening. That's baffling. I mean, we have to do everything you can imagine, background checks, drug testing.
yeah.
We check whether or not they're
Well,
sexually.
you're not in California though either, so they just skip all that shit and give them a piece of paper and say, "Go ahead and do a U-turn on the interstate. It's all good."
Well, yeah. And then our drivers get to California and they're like, "You slowed that truck down to 55 miles an hour. And where's your documents? And where's your paperwork? And where's your stamp? And where's this? And where's that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gee, it's like going into another country. What a shock. I probably shouldn't have started this, but anyway, so
Yeah, let's not go down that path.
yeah, the temperature's already up to 50. Hey, how's that work?
So your guys are kind of like the front lines of the road.
Yes.
Do you guys have formal, informal, like a see something, say something? Like I remember, what was it, about a decade ago when there were truckers that would not go into specific markets because they knew they were getting either robbed, beaten, whatever.
Yeah, that's Mexico.
Well, no, it was in the U.S.
No,
I
I,
think it was
I
like
know.
Nevada,
I know. There
Portland.
was definitely some areas that you wouldn't. So again, we only hire, we only hire certain ways. So we know who they are, we know their character, we know how they are, and they all talk, and we have great relationships. So most of the drivers I talk to, there's some drivers I talk to daily, but I talk to everybody at least via text or on a call every week. My partner talks to them, pretty much all of them daily. Um, There's some things that we have talked through, that we've worked through. Actually, it's our down season coming up, and one of the things we've been talking about is doing there's a training that you can do for drivers on recognizing sex trafficking. So we're talking about doing a
Mm,
training for the drivers and getting them all certified and because that's a big thing coming into truck stops. You see,
wow.
you're never really sure of what's going on at the truck stops, but I don't think there could ever really be a secret on the road because, like I said, they talk.
All that stuff is so freaking fascinating to me. Just because trucking, it doesn't necessarily sound sexy, but it's so vital to
Yeah.
everything that we do.
This episode of Managing Your Perimeter is brought to you by First Fence, the experts in keeping what matters most protected. Whether it's a temporary fence for your next big event or a permanent solution for your business, First Fence delivers with speed, precision, and peace of mind. Trusted by pros in construction, events, and beyond, they've got safety down to a science. Need a fence? Get it done right the first time at firstfence.com.
I'm curious, you're talking about your truckers vetting one another and getting this information that really is keeping people safe and keeping a consistent culture in your organization. So I'm curious what about your leadership style or how you're managing your company you would attribute to that? Because I think that's something that a lot of companies don't have, and it's talked about as a failure of people like not wanting to work anymore, but I know that it is your leadership that inspires them to work this way with you. So I'm curious what you would say about the way that you work that inspires that. When I first started the company, one of the things that I really focused on was what did I want? How did I want to be treated? What was important to me with the companies that I had worked with previously? And we have a couple of things that we really rely on that I think really speak to that. And one is our motto is no road is long with good company. So it's just always about bringing the right people along with you. But the other thing was that when we first started, I thought, okay, what's really inspiring? What's really driving the direction and who I am and how I want this company to be? And there was 5 F's, and gosh, I'm probably going to forget one because now I'm on the spot, but it's faith, family, friendliness, fairness. It was all those things that really kind of drove who we were, what we were doing, right? So I'm a woman of faith. That's important to me. But it's also important that I respect other people's faith, whatever that is. Fairness, we treat others as we would want to be treated. Family, your family is the most important thing, even to the point where I have had people talk to me about opportunities. They've been offered a job elsewhere, whether it's an administrative person or a driver or whatnot. They have to do what's right for their family. I love them. I'm a job, right? Their family is important. So if getting off the road is the most important thing, if I have a driver tell me I need to get off the road, we're going to help you figure out how to do that. And it may not be with us. It may not be with us. If it can be, it will be, but it may not be. And we really try to foster that between themselves. We came up with this thing years ago. It was different when we were in the office, when people were actually all working together in the same place. But we have a thing called the F-bomb. And it used to
Well,
be
I
a
can't wait
little
to hear this sounds. I'm excited about this part.
when you were in the office, we had a little statue and it had this metal heavy bomb with the letter F on the top of it. And you could F-bomb each other like, hey, I really felt like how you treated me that day was like really cool. It was fair. Like, let me give you an F-bomb. So now we do it through our
It was a
HR
good
system.
thing then.
What's that?
It was a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a good thing when we F-bomb each other. Yeah. And so we can do it
I
through our
would.
HR system. You can F-bomb people. You can F-bomb each other. You just say, hey, that really, I really felt like you were caring about my family in that moment. Thank you for, might be a driver picking up a shift for somebody else because that driver is leaving his tour and going on vacation and that's something he can't miss. Or, it could just be anything. Like I really appreciated your listening to me that day, that I was struggling, I was having a hard time and you listened. And so we try to incorporate that into what we do, and we just really treat people how we want to be treated.
Nice. That's very
Not
nice. I
saying I'm
like that a
always
lot.
not saying I'm always awesome, not saying that I always, I'm not perfect.
Sometimes the F-bomb has a different meaning.
Sometimes it does.
That's
Sometimes
kind
it's
of
an actual F-bomb.
Well, that's usually directed more at the truck than the driver.
Yep. Yep.
that's a good point.
That's fair.
Yeah.
A lot of what you're saying sort of lends to why I love the spirit of Echo,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what that's all about.
Right.
That whole
Yes.
program, that whole organization, you brought all of that in there. And we had Chris Lyle on the show as well. And he brought the same spirit and the same, energy that, what he has focused on the road and all of that, he just sort of like the collaborative effort with all of you put together that organization. And so, I say I really was excited to have you on this show because you definitely you exude that and portray that. And it's very obvious when you're talking about your business and you're talking about, I mean, everybody can sort of be the facts and just the facts, but when there's a caring element into this, I think
Yeah.
it elevates your business and it elevates, who's in your business. And all of the people that, you work with and all those that you collaborate with. I mean, you're not going to collaborate with someone if they don't have the same spirit that you do. Thank you for sharing that, because that is important. And honestly, especially as we're going through everything that we're going through. I mean, yeah, by the time this airs, I hope that the government is not shut down. But right now, the government is shut down and everybody's trying to figure out how we make all of this work, right? And
Right.
how we do all of this. And, in your case, the shows are still going on and everyone's still doing it. But, should this continue to last longer, those things will be impacted. And, I'm really hoping that, somebody we get to some agreement and that we can turn all of this back on, because I personally do not want to see another sort of COVID happen where everything is getting shut down and everybody's having to try and figure it out, because, it's just, here we go again, And then, but I think in this case, we're all going to know how to react to it. And we're all going to know what to do with it, and how we manage it. But,
We hope it'll be better. If
no,
if
yes,
if
100%.
we ever need to, and hopefully we will.
Yes, yes, yes.
Let's just hope you don't have to fly anywhere right now.
Well,
Because
some of us do, but it's
We're
okay.
in the we're in the
No,
wrong
no,
business
no.
for that, Mel.
Ah.
The flying part is okay right now. It's actually okay out there. It's not that bad. Not
It's
that
pretty bad. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Well,
See, that-
okay.
I'll tell you
that's-
the one thing that I've seen woven throughout a lot of our discussions and has opened my eyes is the focus, especially in the music industry, on the mental health aspect of everything. You talked
Mhm.
about Chris, we've talked about what you're doing. Also, Paul Bradley from Eventric and Master Tour
Yes.
they've got an initiative. I don't know if
Right.
you guys have woven in with them or if there's a separate. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so Paul Bradley, actually he's done a great job right within Master Tour. And we have tied in somewhat on that, but right on Master Tour, they have a link for other resources. You can click on it and it takes you to some mental health resources. Whenever we are at a festival, and we are providing counseling on site, you can schedule appointments and, there's a QR code to go to. And I know a lot of the tours will upload that information right into Master Tour so that any crew that's coming into that festival is aware there is counseling available. It is on site and that they can go ahead and schedule that appointment. Yeah. Paul Bradley has been a great connection for Echo Live and he's been partnered with us for years.
And look,
Yeah, I live in the same town as he does.
You do?
I do. Yeah,
Oh.
he's a neighbor.
We had Paul Bradley on the show. Paul's
He's
a great.
fantastic.
Paul, yeah, he's really, really good. So nice to have
cannot
him there.
be overstated. It's about the people.
Yes.
And when you pay attention to that, it's not about, and forgive me for saying this, but for us, it's not about your assets. It's not about the trucks. It's not about the fence. In our case, it's not about,
Mhm.
it's about the people, not just the people that we're trying to either serve or protect, but the people that are helping us deliver on our promise to them and taking care of them. I mean, Anna's seen it, PJ's seen it, Sharon, I know you've seen it. People get cranky, right?
No.
They need a little bit of, tender love and care, a shoulder to cry on,
Yes.
bucket to spit in, or whatever. But they just
Yeah.
need, and if we as managers and people persons don't focus on that, we lose a very valuable asset.
Yeah. And I think y'all can probably speak to this as well. It has to be the same for you. But I know for us, when we have a tour and we finish the tour, and we just had one this morning, we just finished a tour, and they emailed me and they said, we want the same driver for April through May, and then again, June through August. So they've already requested the driver. No one in the history of my entire career has ever emailed me and said, hey, we would like to make sure the next tour we're on, we get a Kenworth truck, or we want to make sure
Yeah.
it has Bridgestone tires. It's never come up. It's not about the equipment, right? So, and I'll say that about, there's a lot of trucking companies out there. There's a fair amount that do what we do. There's a fair amount that do a good job. The equipment's not the important thing. It just isn't. And so when people will say, we want to use this company or we want to use that company or don't ever use that company, they are never talking about the equipment. They are always talking about the people. And I would have to imagine it's the same for your business as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is about the relationships for sure. And
Yeah.
how, again, how well we've treated them and how well they've treated us. I mean,
Right.
there are instances, where you're like, yeah, okay, that's good. We're not doing that one again. We're not, we can take the step back. I mean, I think that, we've all grown our businesses to be able to say no when it's not right for
Right.
what our mission is and for what we're focused on. And so it's important to know that you don't have to just keep doing things and everything. Which is again why I'm saying, as everybody has ramped up again and they're doing all their stuff again, it's like, yes, it's great to say yes, yes, yes to everything. And it's great to be able to help everybody out. But at some point you stop and you go, okay, we can't do all of this because we're not going to do it well.
Right.
When you're out there, you're trying to do it well and you want to make sure that you're delivering the best product to them. And when you start taking on too much, mistakes happen.
Right. And it's the same thing with cutting your rates. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. When it's one thing to negotiate in good faith,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
another thing to try to bottom barrel your rate. And in our case,
Yeah.
we're not going to match somebody who's not even in the industry, doesn't do a good job, doesn't know what they're doing.
Right.
That's not a client that we want to chase. We respect their decision, and if that's what their budget is, that's what their budget is, but we're not going to bring ourselves down to a level where it's not feasible for us to provide
Right.
the service.
Right. Well, Sharon, I really appreciate you being here, spending some time. We know you were extremely busy, but it's always just a pleasure. Thank you. It's lovely to see you again.
Yeah.
And then hopefully the next time I'm back in Nashville, we can get that moment to catch up. Good luck on the Echo Live event. I know that one is really, really good. I always remember it. And it's where I've just really grew very fond of everything that you guys are doing there. So it's nice that it's sort of expanded into getting to know you and your business and everything you're doing. And I wish you continued success in all of that. I mean,
Thank
everybody
you.
loves a concert. So, it's nice to know that you're behind a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff. So, Sharon, is there anything that Echo Live's working on? I mean, I know you've got this industry day coming up and everything, but is there anything you want to share with our listeners? And then we can pass that on and we'll make sure that we
Yeah.
tag that in it as well.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say is stay involved, stay informed. We're on social media. Sign up for our newsletter, ECCHO live, live.com. And we're doing events every month. There's always something happening. We're excited that maybe in the first quarter, we're going to have you in to do some educating and
Love to.
yeah.
Love
So
to help
just
out,
get
honestly.
involved, stay involved, and
Mhm.
yeah.
Great. No, that's wonderful. Again, and listeners, thank you very much for your time. As always, you know where to find us on your favorite podcast. Or you can go to www.arcusgrp.com and look into what we're getting into. Gentlemen, lovely to see you again. Hope to see you guys out on the road.
Always a
I had the
pleasure.
luxury of seeing PJ recently in Florida. He had an event here, so it was nice to be able to catch up with him also.
That was
But at this time,
And it was a delicious dinner. It was great. Thank you.
oh yes, we did. We finally got a chance to actually break bread and eat a dinner. It
Yeah.
wasn't on the fly somewhere or sitting,
Awesome.
in a dark hallway trying to shovel down a sandwich. So anyway, lovely to see you, Sharon. Thank you so much for your time. Listeners, again, we appreciate all of you. Please stay tuned. Call us with any questions, email us with any questions, and we'll see you again very soon. Stay safe out there.
Thank you all.